Hi, dear sisters and brothers, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about enlightenment. And we're going to talk about how we transcend 3D and move forward, upward in our consciousness levels. There is still a lot of confusion amongst people how to actually do it. What is the salvation out of this density, out of this consciousness level? And there are still a lot of misperceptions maybe around this as well, around the term enlightenment. And today I want to focus specifically on the aspect that people connect with the transcendence of 3D. Like many still have the perception that transcending 3D means that we no longer experience 3D, that we experience everything in 4D, 5D. What does that mean? In a higher consciousness vibration. And what we know is that vibration is love and compassion, right? Now, many desire maybe enlightenment in order to, I'm going to put it out there, and maybe you feel a little bit like, that could be me, in order to escape 3D, in order to not have the human experience the way we have it here with everything that's happening here, not have it that way, kind of to transcend it in order to escape it, in order to stop it. And now I'm going to first share with you something that was given to me by my guidance when I pondered this topic. And I'm going to share it, I'm going to read it because I wrote down what came through. And then after that, we look at the messages, or we look at the explanations that have been brought through, okay? So the third density is not about the perfection, but about the attempt to bring undistorted love to each moment. That's what Quo were saying as well. Salvation is not the moment where all questions and struggles end and you are in perfect perfection. Salvation is compassion and love sought in every moment. Third density will remain your environment with all confusion because of the veil. So enlightenment is to see that within the eternal dance and the eternal journey you're on, and to bring this to the world, this desire and this clarity that in all there is one true aspect to be found, love. And it is up to you to bring this truth forward into the experiences, not to become enlightened and make the experiences stop. And then I was given the example, shown the example of Jesus. And they were saying Jesus experienced third density until his last moment on earth, in the most oppressive way, bringing love and compassion to the experience. So we can see that. We can see Jesus was enlightened, and yet he experienced this world with everything there was in it, in his own life, in his internal world, on his body. He was deprived of his freedom, of his sovereignty around what he wanted to do or say, or where he would want to go, or even the personal physical safety. He experienced 3D until his last moment on earth. So the aim of enlightenment or awakening is not to make 3D stop. I'm going to continue with the words of my guidance. Many want to find the truth in order to end third density torment, to transcend, but the transcendence is something different than most believe. You meet the outer experience with your transformed or transcended self, transcended out of unconscious patterns, judgments, programs, but you still meet the experiences because you still create, and you cannot not create and manifest for this is the nature of creation unfolding eternally. So what changes after the awakening is the you bring to the situations, and therefore the quality of the experiences changes in return. Challenges are no longer reacted to by the unconscious, disempowered self in a habitual way, but are being recognized as the opportunity to be once more the bearer of the light of love and compassion. If the lessons in 3D have as purpose for you to choose love and compassion more and more, and sensing the unity as the basis of all things, then everything in your experiences can be perceived as the teacher of that lesson or realization in endless ways. Once one starts to view this aspect as the lens through which one sees life and the world, in this third density, indeed everything changes for that entity. For all outer experiences become merely the reflection and a method of incentive to practice love and compassion more and more purely in all moments. In 3D, the achievement is not the criteria for graduation into 4D, but the attempt and the value on the importance and meaning of this attempt to bring love and compassion into each moment. So with this, it becomes clear that we're not here to stop any experience and to stop 3D, to stop Earth the way it is now and kind of snip our finger and then everyone and everything will be transformed. Because 3D is not about that. 3D is not about perfection. 3D is about polarity and choosing. And while we're still here in the polarity and the choosing, the choices that we make will determine the quality of vibration, and that vibration is what 4D, 5D, 6D, that's what that is. The vibration is the carrier of that density, of that level of experience. So this means, going back to Jesus, he experienced the most horrific earthly experiences. But the self he brought into these experiences, it wasn't a 3D self. It was not an ego. It was not a pattern. It was not a program. It was not this is my opinion and this is what I think and this is who I am. He brought the Christ, the true self, the awakened self to these experiences. Yes, also having human moments, also seeing what's going on and probably having, and I mean we see this, having torment within him, doubting, fearing, because he was also a man, a human being. But moment to moment, his practice was, and this is exactly our practice, to be love and compassion and bring that consciousness into each moment. Ra in the Law of One says the same thing. This is about seeing love in every moment. The same with the Course in Miracles. Can we find love in this moment? Can we find love in this situation, in this interaction, in this struggle, in this challenge, in this object? Can we find the vibration of love in it? Now, you may look at something where there is conflict and you say, absolutely not, there is no love there. Okay, well, how can there be love? How can we change what we observe if there's a situation of conflict? How can we change that? We can change that by us bringing the love to it. Now, what is love? Love is not judgment. So by judging, the conflict shall end because it's bad, because it's negative, because it's dark, because it's low vibe, because it's unloving. That's not what love does. Love sees the perfection in this conflict. Love sees there are two maybe unconscious beings in this conflict, having an unconscious debate about things they're not even conscious of. So you can understand and then bring the love to this situation. Bring your kindness and your blessing to this situation, understanding well. They are not conscious. They're not self-aware. They don't know. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Let's forgive them, for they know not what they're doing, because they're unconscious, they're unawakened. But as we become more awakened, we transcend these judgments and these conflicts, not that we don't experience them around us anymore, or maybe even inside of us, We may still experience anxiety, conflicts, torn opinions within us, but then we enter with the presence of our higher self and bring love and compassion to this inner conflict, not make it stop. The aim is not to make it stop. This is not why we're here. We're not here to change world into 4D within a snip of a finger, because world, 3D world, is here to offer exactly those situations. The third dimension, and not just on Earth, the third dimension or third density on every planet or in every sphere, 3D is there to have the polarity, to have the contrast, to have all sorts of experiences, and then to choose what's in alignment with us. That's what it's here for, so we can see the perfection of all what we could judge as terrible states of the world. It's perfect because it facilitates our growth. It facilitates our choice, our passion for our own path and for our own beingness. This is why it's here. Otherwise, we couldn't experience this. So it's not about stopping it. It's not about stopping the triggers. It's not about stopping the hardships. It's about transforming yourself, transcending your own 3D self into a higher version, if you want to see it that way, and bringing that to the table and bringing that into the situation and dealing with the world and the experiences from that new perspective. So again, in order to graduate, to transcend 3D, you don't have to be perfect and master love and compassion in every situation, because fact is you're still a human being. So that is not the criteria. The criteria is you attempting it, you desiring it, you wanting this more than anything else. It doesn't mean you succeed every time. Sometimes you may be very judgmental, but by seeing this and then accepting yourself, balancing these distortions, these viewpoints within yourself, or these strong emotions, maybe even negative emotions, by balancing them, by finding self-acceptance, by appreciating what's going on no matter how it is, and taking life as it is, and then learning from it. That's the criteria for graduation. You do not have to be like what we would think of as saintly or holy in every moment, and only have good thoughts and only feel and think the appropriate, nice and kind things. That's not what this is about, because we would fail probably on a daily basis. Maybe some more rarely, but probably all of us would fail, because life is here to offer trigger situations and offer opportunities to respond. Now we can react from the unconscious patterns, or we can choose to respond consciously. But within the response, before we respond, we could still have very much 3D pattern experiences within us. So if you wait, or if your desire is to eliminate those completely, and I know many of you are trying that and are failing and are becoming desperate because they see I'm failing again and again and again, leave that altogether. That is an ego pattern. That's the ego trying to tell you, this is how you become holy. This is how you become perfect. This is how you become enlightened and transcended. And while you still have negative thoughts, that's bad, that's wrong, so you're not there yet. That's not what enlightenment is. That's not what transcendence is. Recognizing the ego patterns that have been built up for many, many years, and then not believing them, but seeing them for what they are, egoic patterns, and then choosing compassion and love also with yourself. In that moment where this comes up, then you have it. Not just treating the world with compassion and open eyes in an awakened state, but also treating yourself as that, meaning your patterns, everything that's there unconsciously, your programs, they're still there. But seeing them, treating them from the higher perspective, with love, compassion, kindness, bringing them then into the light and into 4D, if you wish, that's it. That is the path. So life, 3D life, is the way. How? The attempt to meet 3D experiences, or any experience, with more love and compassion in each moment. That's how. That's how we do it. That's how we transcend. Because all of a sudden it doesn't become about right and wrong anymore. It becomes about seeing everything as the lesson and the opportunity. Everything. And that's how it's done. So it's not about being perfect here in 3D. Hear this and relax. It is not about becoming perfect in 3D. It's about the balanced perspective of your distortions and imperfections and your total and complete perfection, existing at the same time, being there at the same time, and then choosing love in every moment, attempting to choose it. It's not the succeeding, it's the attempt. I hope that this is helpful, and I hope that this will bring you maybe more peace, internal peace on your path, on your journey to awakening, to enlightenment, because you can rest, you can relax, you can drop your shoulders, knowing that you don't have to achieve perfection here. That's not why we're in 3D. It's not about the perfection. Embrace this. If this feels like truth to you, if this resonates with you, embrace it. Take these words with you, contemplate them, carry them, and enjoy the rest of your day, knowing that you don't have to be perfect